Hi, thank you for joining us today. My name is Suzanne Keever, and I am a member of the NCSIS Professional Learning Team. Today, we are going to review the Administrative Tasks section of the beginning of your presentation. We have a link to the presentation here on the opening slide. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A links that we provided on the last slide in the presentation, and we will answer your questions in the See Answer spreadsheet. We're going to start off today with the grading window setup. The grading window determines when scores can be posted by teachers, which prevents teachers from posting grades in incorrect terms. Be sure to set these grading windows after all your grading tasks and/or standards have been updated and pushed to courses and sections. We have included a link to the Infinite Campus grading window article on this slide. The grading window setup is a four-step process. Users will select terms, select the date and time, select grade levels, and then select the grading task and/or standards. Keep in mind that if you have both traditional and standards grading in the same school, you will need to select the grading task and standards when you're setting up the grading windows. Next, we'll review updating reports. Reports such as report cards, progress reports, and schedules should be reviewed and updated as needed for the upcoming school year. These reports were rolled forward during the end-of-year procedures. We have a link here in the administration end-of-year article that provides instructions for rolling reports forward. We also have included a link to the Infinite Campus Report Setup article for information about creating and modifying these reports. Also, check any locally created data validations, ad hoc reports, and letters, and make sure if there are any changes needed that those are taken care of before the upcoming school year. On the report setup screen, you'll review the reports that have been created in your PSU or school. These, again, could be schedules, it could be progress reports or your report cards. You may want to update some data elements or report options for the next school year, so you do want to review these. You are also going to want to review any locally created data validations or ad hoc reports and update information as needed before the next school year. For instance, if the active today field was changed for summer usage, be sure to update that value back to true to ensure reports pull as expected during the school year. In some cases, you may want to copy your ad hoc reports and then update any hard-coded information in the new copies for this school year. Again, that's optional. Also, review any locally created letters and make any updates that are needed. There may be hard-coded information or data elements that need to be updated in these letters. For instance, if you've updated your period setup, letters may need to be updated as well. For restoring automated tasks, you may have task schedulers or data extract utilities that you have paused or stopped for the summer. You're going to want to communicate with third-party vendors and PSU administrators regarding dates for restarting these tasks that you may have stopped or paused over the summer. For Task Scheduler, if you check the box to stop, pause the execution of any of these that you created, such as the change unknown absences to 2A, you will want to uncheck the stopped pause box in preparation for the start of the new school year. For data extract utilities, you may have stopped the automated extracts to vendors over the summer months. Once you've conferred with your vendors and local administrators in your PSU regarding dates data extract utilities should begin again, you will need to uncheck the stop automated extract box. Also review and make any updates in these if needed. You're going to also want to verify your attendance codes. You can use the attendance code setup article to review and confirm the attendance codes have been set up correctly. We've provided a link to the article here. You're also going to verify that if you have any that need to be linked to a behavior resolution, that you have checked that box as well. You can review the NC Attendance Code Audit Data Validation Report to verify attendance codes and counts of attendance codes by your calendar, status, and excuse. And we have a link to that information here. Campus workflow. If your PSU has a school or schools that are using campus workflow, the workflow roll forward tool is available if you wish to duplicate the setup for hall pass, badges, behavior, scanner settings for check-in, check-out in the next school year. We have a link to the Infinite Campus workflow roll forward article on the slide. For fees. If your PSU has a school or schools using fees, we have a link to the Infinite Campus fees article on this slide with instructions for adding and updating fees as needed. And transportation tips. Transportation readiness is a shared responsibility among data managers, SIS coordinators, and your transportation staff. We're just going to review a few helpful tips in this presentation. You're going to want to verify household connections for first-time students. Confirm all first-time students are linked to a household record before enrollment is completed. Missing household connections often cause blank or missing addresses in TIMS and other transportation systems. You're going to also want to review and correct household addresses early. Review newly uploaded addresses for errors such as typos, street types, apartment, lot numbers, etc. You're going to use your TIMS or other transportation systems to help identify and address these issues. Data managers, SIS coordinators, and transportation staff should resolve discrepancies before school starts, especially during those peak enrollment months. And another very important tip is to enter day one bus request with the actual entry date. Use the date the transportation request is entered, not the service start date. Using the first day of school as the request date delays visibility to the transportation staff and may impact routing and scheduling. So those are all helpful tips to make sure transportation is ready for the start of school. And then our graduation data verification. Before the NC graduation data verification state report submission deadline, verify that all graduate data is accurate and complete. We have provided a link to the graduation data validations article in the NC knowledge base. You're going to want to run the GDV data validation report and view all the validation results. Any informational validations identified should be investigated and corrected if not valid to ensure accurate graduation reporting prior to submitting your report. We're going to close out by going over a few resources. We have a link to our beginning of year article. I'm going to click on that one now. And we start off with the beginning of year overview. And then we have divided the articles up with icons below. So you've got the new school year, course masters and grading, scheduling, student information, census information, staff information, administrative tasks, summer school, assessment management, checklist, and then the start of school. So these beginning of year articles will also have presentations and recordings that will be posted on the NCSIS knowledge base. Going back to those resources, we have a link to the Professional Learning NC Department of Public Instruction website. We also have the link for asking questions, for submitting those, and then seeing the answers so that you can see questions that everyone across the state is entering and what those answers are. You will find all these links on this resource screen. And this recording and other beginning of the year recordings will be posted on our professional learning website soon. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining the webinar. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure you use those Q&A links. And the link to this recording and other beginning of year recordings can be found on our professional learning website. I hope you have a great day. Thank you.